and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're coming to you from the Store Bay Beach facility on the southwestern tip of Tobago. We're asking you to stay with us for the next half hour as we catch you up on the major events and stories happening on the island. Of course, we've got lots to share with you, so let's get started right away with this week's headlines. The island's new LED street lighting project will help to save energy, but there's a lot more to these upgrades than meets the eye. The National Self-Help Commission gets creative as it supports the residents most in need in Tobago. The Tobago Heritage Festival is a celebration of Tobago's rich cultural history. We take you back to where it all began, and we'll share some tips with you to help you get your fitness journey underway. We have all these stories and more for you when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us.
Tobago East, it's your time to hit the road. Get your first or second dose shot at the COVID-19 vaccination drive-thru this weekend from Friday, August 13th to Sunday, August 15th at the Roxborough Administrative Complex car park between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. You don't need an appointment if you're 18 and over, not an expecting mother, and if you've been COVID-free for the past 3 months. Just bring along a valid national ID and if it's available, your vaccination card. Both the Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccines will be administered. For more info, call 725-7345 or visit the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development's Facebook page. Another vaccination drive-thru is on this weekend at the Roxborough Administrative Complex. Don't miss your chance to get the shot.
Slowly but surely, Tobago is looking at ways to protect the environment by exploring energy-saving and renewable energy sources. The island's latest street lighting endeavor is also putting the safety of residents in the spotlight. Here's more.
Tobago streets are set to become a bit brighter and safer. It's all thanks to a collaborative effort among the Tobago House of Assembly, central government and the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission.
The lights are 120 watt LED lights, higher efficiency than the previous version of lights, the high pressure sodium lights. So, it's all with a drive to improve technology and improve the livelihood of residents here.
Assistant Area Manager of Operations at TN Tech, Mr. Narendra Bipta, says the transition to LED lighting will significantly reduce operational costs in the long term. The new technology also poses far less strain on the system at peak time and promises greater longevity.
The lifespan of these lights, they generally between 10 to 15 years, right? Ideally should be maintenance free, right? As opposed to the previous HPS, which generally around 5 to 6 years, where components would start failing.
Secretary of Settlements, Urban Renewal and Public Utilities, Clarence Jacob, says various areas across Tobago have already been earmarked for LED illumination.
In Mariah and throughout Tobago, 1-2 lights will be installing just to increase the safety of the citizens in Tobago, because we had situations where persons, coming from work. Now is the COVID time and, persons are able to, be home a bit earlier. But normally, persons complain when they have to work in hotels and come home late at night. They want to have some form of comfort and safety.
The LED streetlight installations are good news as well for the residents of Piggott Trace Canby.
Welcoming the lights, because we all need the lights. It was very, very dark before to get out and in.
And I'm very thankful to see that we get street lights in here now. It's been well needed because the back here is very dark. There's a lot of families that live with children here, and we feel really insecure. So I thank God for all the great minds that was behind this project.
TN Tech's LED street lighting installations will be done in phases to replace expired high-pressure sodium lights. Installations will also be ongoing in the Goldsboro area through August to September to reduce the likelihood of predial larceny. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
Sometimes you just need a hand to get back on your feet. That's the mission of the National Commission for Self-Help Limited, to empower residents so they can help themselves. But in the midst of the pandemic, more care is being taken to provide that support, as you'll see in this story. Checks for minor repairs and reconstruction, emergency repair or reconstruction assistance, and development programs were distributed to over 50 families across the island from the National Commission for Self-Help Limited.
I feel proud I so thank for SelfHelp, and I highly appreciate it. I will buy windows and doors.
This commission is your silver lining, and may I say, your beacon of hope in moments like these and in moments of uncertainty. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some uncertain times, but social support agencies like the National Commission for Self-Help will continue to intervene to bring relief to you and your family.
In the past 3 years, the National Commission for Self-Help Limited has distributed $10 million worth of grants to Tobago. So deserving families are getting their share of the pie from the national agency.
We are aware of the varying socio-economic challenges that households may encounter, and we are working towards the empowerment of the most vulnerable families. In fact, over the period 2018 to 2021, the Commission has disbursed over $37 million, comprising development grants and minor repair grants. Today, 55 recipients will benefit from $940,000 worth of grants.
Minister of Sport and Community Development, Honorable Shamfa Cudjoe, says it's all about putting people first and ensuring that families have a comfortable, safe and secure space to call home.
The spirit of community, the spirit of partnership, the spirit of caring have come alive at this time, and that is especially so as it relates to our government at a time where there is much economic trial and hardship and distress throughout countries of the Caribbean region and lesser developed countries throughout the world. We face much economic hardship, and that was so even before COVID, but we as a government continue to put people first.
Another grant distribution is scheduled for August 20th at a value of just over $1.1 million. Now, substance abuse can have a major negative impact on the lives of both users and their loved ones. It's why Tobago's Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Program, or ADAP, continues to educate the public so that people can make informed decisions. And during the latest installment of its Sober Effect web series, ADAP is enlightening marijuana users on the harmful effects associated with the drug.
Marijuana, weed, pot, cannabis, ganja. Whatever you call it, there are always questions about its impact on our health. The Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Program, ADAP, continues to create awareness about various substances in order to minimize the potential for abuse. ADAP, which falls under the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development, is educating the public on the misuse of marijuana through its latest series. Psychologist Billy Sterling Lewis breaks down the components of marijuana.
In the plant itself, there are two main ingredients that are very, very key in the effects of marijuana. We have the cannabinoid that has been shown to be what is called the medicinal property of the drug, but we also have the THC. You can just remember that one. It stands for tetrahydrocannabinol, and that is what we call the main psychoactive chemical in the drug. And when we say psychoactive, we are talking about that feature or those features that causes the person with use to experience a change in the way they think, they feel, and ultimately behave.
Since the decriminalization of possession of marijuana under 30 grams in Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Sterling Lewis says persons have become more creative when ingesting the drug, especially through food.
In the edibles, what happens is that they use either the straight marijuana, or they may use sometimes the liquid from the marijuana if they would have soaked it or boiled it. Generally, it is also ingested in tea form. All right. Just bear in mind that whatever form you ingest it, whether you smoke it, you use it as a food substance, I'm going to share the other one with you, it definitely does have the effects on the body.
Mrs. Sterling Lewis advises users to be cautious, saying despite the myth that it's harmless, marijuana can have negative effects on the body. She says the drug affects each person in a different way. And she also explains the challenge associated with medical use of marijuana in Tobago.
The issue with marijuana and the medicinal use is that, especially in our part of the world, we don't have many people writing prescriptions. So many times, even when it's used for medicinal purposes, it's very much a self or, a self-medicated prescription.
The webinar is hosted on the final Thursday of each month via the division's Facebook page. I'm Megan Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
The Tobago Heritage Festival has come a long way since its inception in 1987, and we'll tell you how it all began right after this break. Stay with us.
Tobago East, it's your time to hit the road. Get your first or second dose shot at the COVID-19 vaccination drive-through this weekend from Friday, August 13th to Sunday, August 15th at the Roxborough Administrative Complex car park between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. You don't need an appointment if you're 18 and over, not an expecting mother, and if you've been COVID-free for the past 3 months. Just bring along a valid national ID, and if it's available, your vaccination card. Both the Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccines will be administered. For more info, call 725-7345 or visit the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development's Facebook page. Another vaccination drive-through is on this weekend at the Roxborough Administrative Complex. Don't miss your chance to get the shot.
The Tobago Heritage Festival is a tradition immersed in color, culture, and celebration. But it's come a long way in the last 3 decades. And as the island hosts a virtual celebration this year, to of course avoid physical gatherings due to COVID-19, it is an opportunity to share with the next generation the history of how it all began. Have a look at this story. The Tobago Heritage Festival came to life in 1987, but the concept had been on George Stanley Baird's mind since 1972. This origin story was part of discussions during the webinar series of the 2021 Tobago Heritage Festival themed The Early Beginnings. Mr. Baird became the Tourism Secretary in 1986. Back then, the Division of Tourism had just an office housing 4 officers, including Bindley Benjamin. Mr. Baird had the responsibility to develop the THA's first division of tourism. There, he shared the idea that an integrated form of cultural tourism could be introduced in Tobago. That's where the concept of the Tobago Heritage Festival was born. The trial year began in 1987.
We submitted a note to the Administrative Committee of the House of Assembly, only to have that note deferred for 7 months. And as a youngster, you know youngsters can get off the end at times. In the 7th month, I did raise a protest within the meeting, and the committee meeting agreed to the principle of developing the Heritage Festival, but they only assigned 1,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars for us to engage in the trial year. Now, being a youngster back then and having been schooled, you never allow disappointments to get the better of you.
Mr. Baird says the biggest concern was ensuring the replication of the island's history and culture was as authentic as it could be, so he relied on Dr. J.D. Elder. With persons like former Trinidad News anchor Josanne Leonard on board, the final budget for the festival in 1987 was $63,000. Mr. Bindley Benjamin says the villages represented in 1987 were Moriah, Lakoto, Charlotteville, Roxborough, and Buku. Cultural icon Annette Alfred was assigned in 1989 as village coordinator for the festival.
Sometime in 1988, I was asked, "But you're on the committee, why you didn't come?" I said, "No one invited me, nobody told me anything." In 1989, I received an invitation from Stanley Baird to be a part of the Tobago Heritage Festival Committee. He then assigned me as the village coordinator. Now the village coordinator says, You have to be in each village. You must know what is happening. You must guide. I think I took it up with a lot of zeal. So in 87, we had 5 villages. In 88, remember, we added to those the bouquet ball. In 89, everybody just wanted to be there. It was Groom Duke from Blackrock. The people from Castara wanted to do the same hanging. You had the people from Bonaccord coming in with the games we used to play. And every year, we kept adding villages and villages and villages.
The webinar can be viewed on the YouTube page of the Tobago Festivals Commission. They're the ones you call when there's a fire disaster or other emergencies. But in 2019, the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service had a disaster of its own, as a blaze gutted the Scarborough headquarters whilst firefighters were attending to another fire in North Tobago. But they're showing that their talents go beyond putting out fires. They're also masters of reconstruction. Ryan McCool brings us this story.
Like the mythical phoenix rising from the ashes, Tobago's firemen are showing tremendous recovery from disaster suffered 2 years ago.
It was very, very difficult from the inception. Very, very difficult. Because we had to find accommodation for our men. So you had 2 stations in the uncomfortable position of having to occupy the Crown Point Fire Station. And thank God, we were able to house them otherwise before the onset of the pandemic.
Backdraft of an unforeseen electrical fire gutted the archaic wooden structure, Tobago's first fire station, erected back in 1958. The location isn't only historic in value, it's actually quite strategic for civil defense, fire coverage and protection.
Everything about firefighting starts and ends with your response time. And if you're not centralized, where you can respond uninhibited, then sometimes we have very little appreciation for what we term the golden hour. The golden hour is that first few minutes where you respond and you are most effective.
1 year and a month since reconstruction began on the Scarborough headquarters, the firemen are again working miracles. They're operating on a budget of a little over $600,000 for a project estimated at well over $2.5 million.
Because the entire floor structure of this building was board, and we had to take out all the board and replace it with concrete. That was a challenge. It stretched us to the limit. And by the time we were finished with that, we were out of funds. But thank God there was so much of us, even the fire officers who worked on this project, were able to make and were able and willing to make contributions to ensure that the project went on.
The project also got assistance through government and private sector contributors.
We are back in a proper place. And I'm telling you, within the next month and a half, you would see a magnificent structure in Scarborough re-established, the return of the fire service out of the ashes. And I wish to applaud all the fire officers, the army officers, the people from DIQE, and all the other external stakeholders who contributed substantially for us to return to this place that we call home.
1 year before he's due to hang up his firefighting helmet, ACFO Thomas is heartened by a legacy rebuilt by officers under his charge. Here at the corner of Backlet and Young Street, an immense human effort is being led by the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service in the restoration of a historical landmark and a home for the island's resilient first responders. Reporting for Let's Talk Tobago, I'm Ryan McCool.
It's a well-known proverb that necessity is the mother of all invention, a saying that evolved from the philosophy of famed Greek Plato. It certainly rings true in the story of CMC Studios, a sound recording company recently established in Bethel in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Omadara Mills and the cameraman Isaac James paid them a visit to bring us this report.
When sound matters, you come to CMC Studios. This business provides clients with all their sound and recording needs. Established last year by recording manager Curtis Collins, this recording space can facilitate band rehearsals, streaming of programs, and the production of advertisements. Since opening, local artists have already used CMC Studios to record their songs. Mr. Collins is proud that he was able to see the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic as an opening to advance his services.
Starting here, basically it was COVID that gave us the drive to go, the closure of everything. And as I said, one saw calamity, but I saw opportunity. Not only the recording artists, but also the musicians that come to use this space. Most of them will tell me it's different. And it's a good difference. Most of their experience, they told me that it's been a good experience. It's clear. It makes them want to come back.
Mr. Collins and his wife used their savings to construct this recording studio, which is located in Bethel. A grant from the Business Development Unit, the BDU of the THA, helped to supply the studio with some equipment.
We just needed that little hand to get over the hurdle in order to open our doors, in order to get, it up and running. And they were just there in the nick of time. And I'm glad for that. I'm really, really glad for that. I'm appreciative of that.
Based on his BDU experience, Mr. Collins is thinking about putting forward a proposal to access the unit's loan facility. Curtis says that the BDU is an excellent program that can stimulate Tobago's business sector.
As a businessman, you ought to have a good idea what you want and how to get it. And you have services like the BDU that's there to support. As I said, to me, they are a good facilitator. You have something that you need advice on, you need finance on, you could go to them. As I said, my experience was good. There are people you could talk to.
For more information on the many services provided by CMC Studios, call 798-2000 or 751-5189. Connect with Curtis on Facebook at Curtis Collins or CMC Studios. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
So it's time for a break, but when we return, we'll hear from a fitness expert who tells us how to take the first step towards a healthy lifestyle. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Tobago East, it's your time to hit the road. Get your first or second dose shot at the COVID-19 vaccination drive-thru this weekend from Friday, August 13th to Sunday, August 15th at the Roxborough Administrative Complex car park between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. You don't need an appointment if you're 18 and over, not an expecting mother, and if you've been COVID-free for the past 3 months. Just bring along a valid national ID, and if it's available, your vaccination card. Both the Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccines will be administered. For more info, call 725-7345 or visit the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development's Facebook page. Another vaccination drive-thru is on this weekend at the Roxborough Administrative Complex. Don't miss your chance to get the shot.
For so many, it can be overwhelming just thinking about taking that first step on their health and fitness journey. If this sounds like a challenge you've encountered, fitness coach Jan Baptiste Campbell has advice to help you get moving towards your wellness goals. Have a look.
It's a familiar struggle for many, finding the motivation and the balance to stay on track when it comes to a healthy diet and proper exercise. It's a challenge fitness coach and owner of First Lady Fitness, Jan Baptiste Campbell, fully understands. She has female clients from their 20s all the way up to their 80s. But regardless of the circumstances of her clients, Jan is always pushing them to succeed. Some may be thinking about getting started tomorrow, but her advice is, don't wait for things to be perfect.
Motivation that we're looking for comes by taking action, by being in the activity and not planning all the time. It might sound counterintuitive, but that's what I believe, that many times we need to start before we're ready. and everything else will fall into place.
When you take that first step, consistency, even a little at a time, is crucial to achieving your exercise goals.
Don't think all or nothing. Well, that is it, I give up. I can't do this exercise thing. I can't, no. Keep moving forward. That was my next tip. Keep moving forward. If you're at the beginning of your journey, keep moving forward. Take the next step. If you're somewhere in the middle and you're working on the consistency and it's fighting you, keep moving forward. I believe that taking some type of movement is better than doing nothing at all.
Just as critical is a balanced diet with a lot of fruit and vegetables, along with drinking sufficient water. Jeanne also advises her clients to be adaptable to change.
You need to have a plan in place for when that comes up. So, for example, I might have a busy schedule and my exercise time might be 5 a.m. every morning. I need to say, okay, if I can't exercise at 5 a.m., then I will do it at 7 p.m. and hold myself accountable to that.
Your mental health is also important when it comes to achieving your fitness goals. Focus on your own progress. Don't compare yourself to others. Having a strict exercise plan can be daunting, so be kind to yourself. Be mindful that your fitness journey is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly been a driver of innovation for many, including this next entrepreneur who's helping to bring consumers closer to the goods and services they need. Crystal George has this story.
The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is unprecedented in its size and scope. Yet, studies in resilience suggest most individuals will successfully negotiate their challenges. Some may even experience growth and positive change, like this tech-savvy guy did. He created an app called Tapago to bring services closer to Tobago residents.
In 2016, Tapago was initially to be an online directory for Tobago businesses. It had never gotten off the ground at that time, and because of the pandemic, I revisited the project and thought that it might be the right time to try to bring it to life again. So what it is today is an online marketplace for Tobago businesses.
This online marketplace has the potential to enhance business on the island. It can also inspire innovation in other aspects of business. So here's how this app works.
The businesses sign on to the platform and they add their products. Customers could then go to the App Store or Play Store and download the app, Tapago, and they would then be able to browse any of these stores and shop online for them, right? Once they select their products, they'll add it to the cart and check out, right? Or merchants would get the orders and they'll prepare the orders and get them ready for our drivers to pick up and deliver to their customers.
And one business user says he's pleased with the service the app provides. In fact, he calls it a must-have.
I've been using Tapago for about 2 weeks now, and it's been very, very helpful towards my business, especially since we've been reopened. We have gotten a boost in sales from the delivery service that's been provided by them. I think it's a very good initiative to be brought to Tobago. There are a couple of other apps in Trinidad, and the first one that was produced by Tobago, for Tobago, and it's been going very, very, very good so far. I really do hope a lot of other businesses can jump on so we can get more persons on and get more access for a lot of businesses in Tobago, because right now with COVID-19, a lot of persons don't want to go to places, don't want to go out. So having that access to various services via delivery is a really, really good thing and something that we really need in Tobago.
To check out the app, visit the Google Play Store or Apple App Store, or to join the online marketplace, contact Khalil at 701-1238. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I am Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week.